All right, I'm going to start here with turn 1 of the Mighty Endeavor. Though I want to clarify something. I misspoke in my intro when I said that the Commonwealth units could interact together but couldn't stay at the end thing. I misread that rule a bit. It's the Commonwealth units, including the Polish, can all be together. It's when they interact with U.S. or French units. That's when it's they can temporarily stack together, but at the end of the turn they need to be separated from them. But so that's what it was. The Commonwealth units, the Canadians, the British, and the Polish can be together on the same hex. That's not a problem. Okay. So we're going to do turn 1 here, and normally we'd be rolling for allied. First would be for reinforcements and replacements. That doesn't happen on turn 1. And then we'd roll for air points. Also does not happen on turn 1. The allies automatically get 12 for the first turn. After that, we roll 2 dice and consult a chart to see how many points we get. Now we do the air point phase, and air points do not carry over, so we pretty much want to spend as much as we can. So with that note, the allies are going to spend, let's see here, we're going to pretty much want to put air domination on almost every space possible. So we'll do 1 for this sector, air zone 2. We're going to want to put, so that's going to be drop us down to 10. We're going to put some up air zone, that's 3, air zone 3. 4 and 5, or that's just 4, sorry. 4 we don't really need. 5, I don't think we need either. It's kind of in the middle. It could be worth putting 1 in 6 though, just to prevent, or not prevent, but to slow down these SS units and stuff from getting up north. So we'll drop 1 in 6 as well. Drop us down to 8 points. I don't think we need to go any more than that, just because we're gonna need at least 3 points for our airborne units, and then we got 5 points we can use for column shifts, for offensives, potentially. Do we actually have that on the invasion turn? No, I don't think so. We don't actually, now that I think about it, I don't think we move off on the first invasion turn. I think we basically land and that's going to be it. The airborne units I think can move. Let me double check that right now, invasions. Invasion units do not require, attacks applied the turn they land, right? Units cannot move on the turn they invade. Yeah, okay. So, other than I think the airdropped units, we don't, I don't know, airdrop units. Airdrop units cannot move on the turn they land. They cannot, but they can attack and advance after combat. Okay, got it. So airborne units we might use for a little bit of fighting, but otherwise I don't think we're gonna do. Now the question then is, we can land 3 airborne units. What do we do? Does that come after the airborne placement phase? Well, we technically do the invasion phase first to figure out how many we're gonna do, but let's talk strategy for a second, because I'm definitely I'm gonna be dropping U.S. troops at here, U.S. troops on this one, and then I think Commonwealth troops over here on this space, I think that's what I'm gonna do. It seems like the most reasonable course of action. But the question I have, if we do this, so where do we drop our airborne troops? And yes, I see the maps slightly tweaked. Can I fix that a little bit? Close enough. Where do we drop our airborne troops here? Because, I mean, I can drop them directly on St. Lo as well, and they'll have to fight. I can drop up to 2 per hex. I probably want to try to kind of keep them spread out just to get a little bit of a fight going. So I have a few different strategic options that I'm not really sure exactly which one I want to do. I could drop, say, maybe even all 3 near Cherbourg and try to go for that right away and get a major port opened up. But I have probably quite a few turns before I really need to do that because of the mulberries. So I could also drop them around here and try to screen this side and maybe push a bit to, like, say, St. Lo, push through the bocage a bit, maybe even try to get, force their way down here to help facilitate moving into the open. There's also, I have to consider Caen, because the Orne River here is a major problem. And it could be worth it to drop paratroopers around here and try to force into Caen immediately. And they'll have to try to hold against what is probably going to be a pretty serious German attack. But if I was to, say, dump all three right over here, and hopefully I have to roll a die to see if they take some damage. I think it's in a bocage, it's a 1 to 2. They end up getting reduced to half, and then it's 4 and up. They're okay, but so there is a risk there. But if they end up all okay, I think I could probably force my way into Caen relatively easily. And after that, it's just going to be kind of a way to rush up reinforcements. So that's worth considering too. I might try that because Caen was such a problem, not just in my historically, but also in that game I played before of this. So I think I might try that just because I think it could be an interesting move. We'll see how that'll turn out. But let's do the invasion placement. So these are level 3 beaches, and level 3 beaches. If I pull over the rules. Let's see, right over here. So with level 3, you get an assault force of 2, a follow-on force of 4, and in the first turn after we get 2 instead of the usual 1, moving over from port to port, or rather the boxes to port. So an assault force is 2 units. You can send armor, but they count as 2. So I could send an armor unit, just 1 armor unit in the assault force, but I don't think that's necessarily a good idea. You just can't. You can get more power out of 2 infantry usually for that. But so we'll send in the assault force, and then the follow-on, and then deal with the first turn after that. So we'll set that up right now. Let's just set those up. I'll set them up live, sure. Why not? I will be doing some cuts and stuff later on for certain activities. Maybe not the first turn, but probably not even the second one when I do a little bit more of this. But I think I will eventually get around to just cutting around some of the more tedious aspects and focusing on major actions and follow up after turn reports, depending on how much stuff goes on. So we'll see how it goes. But for this first one, let's just show it off. So our initial wave, let's just drop the 5th and the 83rd Infantry on that for the first wave. The follow-on wave, we'll put in the 3rd Armor, and why not the 2nd Infantry? And we do need to get a, do I want to put the HQ there, or do I want to put the HQ? I guess I'll try putting the HQ here. It's also a thing of... yeah, we'll put it up here. It's fine. So that'll be our 3 up here. It's 4 points there, and then we do 2 on the follow-up. Then for this beach here, one interesting thing about beach assaults is that you don't actually count any units on there. So this infantry, despite being on the beach, is not actually counted for the assault. They just kind of get forced off, which actually does open up one other potential avenue here, which is that if I was to land paratroopers around here, it would pretty much cut off its retreat and possibly force a surrender, actually, of the 352nd Infantry, which is an interesting idea, but I'm not sure how necessary it is. I don't know. That could also be pretty vital on its own, but I think I'm going to stick with the Caen thing just because it's more intriguing and less of an immediate historical option, in the sense of they did not concentrate all the paratroopers over it just to ring into Caen, which is a weird idea. And paratroopers are not necessarily equipped to do that, but we're going to try it. Okay, or then we'll do, then for this one, we have the 8th and the 4th. Doesn't particularly matter, but there is some slight variances in defensive power. And they may take losses, so that's another reason why you don't necessarily want to throw in armor right away. But the 2nd armor down here, along with the 28th, 35th. Don't need any trucks yet. We'll probably start bringing in trucks probably by turn 2 or 3, but not right away. Those are paratroopers, so we're not bringing in those. Okay, and then for this one here, this is all part of it. This is part of, by the way, this is on the turn. This is called the invasion placement phase. And then there's the attack HQ announcement phase, which we don't need to do for this turn, because invasions do not need an attack HQ to tell them what to do. So we'll throw in, we're going to try to keep this at all British, just for the ease of, it makes it easier on the supply situation, because I don't need to worry about having these different HQs, which I think they did. I'll double check that, but I'm pretty sure they might work interchangeably, the British and the Canadian HQs. I can't remember exactly, but just in case, I'm going to stick them all for British. And we'll do the 7th. Oh, no, we want to do the oh, no, 7th is the best. Never mind. 7th armor. And there we go. So that's, no, we use the slightly stronger. There we go. Yeah, those are both 6s. Okay. And that will do that. That handles the invasion placement phase. And on level 3 beaches, it's almost, I don't even know if it's possible to actually lose on the invasion, like, unless maybe if you roll absolutely terribly, but even then I don't think that's actually possible if you throw in enough anyway. I'll go full power, so I'll just place those there just because we're gonna need them soon. Okay, next up we do the attack HQ announcement, which I already explained we don't actually need to do, so we just go straight to the airdrop phase. So I am going to be using all 3 points that are available to me, so it'll drop us down to 5. And I think what I'm going to do, because of where their location is, I am going to drop all British paratrooper / glider troops in the area. Let me just make sure that placement's legal. Each airdrop allows it, yep. Any open bocage hex only in a dominated air zone. Yes, okay. Up to 2 units can land in a single hex. Okay. So I actually don't need necessarily to land on the bocage, which just makes it a little bit harder. So we could actually land to the southern area here where it's all open. So that's 3, and then we roll a dice here. So if we roll any 1s in the open terrain, then they'll get reduced to half strength. So normally I roll in a little box, but we'll just do it right over here just for ease. First up, the 1st Airborne. They're fine. Next up, we'll do the 52nd Glider. Fine. And finally, the 6th paratroopers. And they're all 6s, geez. Okay, so all the paratroopers landed perfectly fine. That's very good for us. Then we move on here to the movement phase, which I don't think there's technically no movement phase. We're going to do combat phase, which is where the rest of this is going to take place. Okay. So for the, against a level 3, let me just go over the procedure for the invasion here. So to execute invasion, place the beach point mark up to 2 units of the assault force, blah, 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 we're talking about. Only infantry divisions we chose in the landing is the invading divisions, and the oh, okay, I forgot about that. So yes, you cannot actually, never mind, you can't send in armor at first. Anyway, regardless of the defending units in the hex, invading units attack only the hex using the odds based only on the terrain of the hex. The odds columns are marked on the CRT. Each invading hex can attack only 1 hex. If it succeeds in clearing landing hex, move the beachport marker and the units into it. The units cannot advance after combat. Yes. Beachport marker cannot leave until it's removed from play. Air points ships cannot be applied to invasions. And this thing's about the beach. If the attack fails, as in so you don't force a defending unit out of the hex, if there is any, return the units in the beachport marker. So we theoretically can fail that one if we don't manage to force out the German unit. But invasion combat rolls are made in the combat phase at any time. It's the player desires. Yes. If the invading units are destroyed in the invasion attempt, the invasion fails, no benchmark is placed, even if the hex is cleared in German units. Okay. So, what we do here, so we do you have the invasion rolls, all other types of terrain we roll on the 2-1, pretty much no matter what. So, first up, we're going to roll for the beach over here. This is basically Utah Beach. So I'm going to roll for Utah Beach. Roll 2 dice. We roll a 7. And a 7 on the 2-1. So attacker 1, defender 1, and retreat. So we're going to take 1 step loss and then move into the hex. So the brackets, by the way, that is for Germans. On certain rolls, the Germans, they have a special rule called, I think it's tactical adeptness. Basically, it reduces their losses by 1 in any of the bracketed things. So if this had been a German attack, they actually would take no losses. So that's pretty good for them. Anyway, so we take one step hit. I guess we'll take it on the 5th. And then we're going to advance. So we got that captured. When did the follow on, guys? Come on, I don't remember. Here we go. In the shipping phase. Okay, shipping phase comes later on in the turn. Okay. So we've landed there. We roll a dice to see how many turns the mulberry will last. 3. Okay, not great, but there you go. So in 3 turns, we have to remove that port. So on turn 4, I'll put it over here by turn 4. Next up, let's do do this one here at Omaha Beach. So this is the same deal. Okay, roll 2 dice. Oh, okay. That is a big roll. 11 on still 2-1. Defender 2 times. Okay, so the defender is forced to retreat. I guess we'll go back here. And no losses. So we got Beachport 2. Oops, I don't know why I put that on top. Beachport 2. And let's roll for the Beachport. I'll just do it right here. Another 3. So Beachport 2 is also leaving on turn 4. Next up, British invading here. It's another die roll. So they rolled a 9 on the 2-1. That's a no losses. They also move in. Beachport 3. Okay, Beachport 3 is going to leave in 2 turns. Okay, so turn 3, we're going to lose Beachport 3. That's not great. Okay. Next up, this is not an invasion. This is I'm going to be attacking into Caen here. So we have all these paratroopers going to be attacking in. I think we're going to use up 2 air points to bring in a 2 shift, because that is going to be very important for us. Okay, let me look up something real quick. Okay, I was looking up the terrain effects. I was trying to figure out what exactly would it be. So because Caen is Caen is just a point of interest. It's not actually a city, so you're using the forest as the defensive modifier. And the forest is a ×2 on the defending player's defense strength. So they have defending on a 4. And we are attacking with 6, 12, 17. So that puts us at a, let's see, so it's 16 to 4. Basically 16 to 4, effectively. So it's 4 to 1. And then we have a 2 shift in our favor because of the air support. So that's going to be a 6 to 1. I'm going to be rolling on the 6 to 1 here for this British attack. Oh, good thing it's high because that was not good. 3 is 1, 1. Is this unit a... Okay, and this garrison unit here by the Germans is not a 2-stepper, so it is destroyed. The British are going to take some losses. I think we'll take it on the weaker glider troops, but we will still be able to advance into Caen here. So, not a great attack, but it was enough. And Caen is ours. That shift. That's going to that might potentially be a pretty big deal. We'll see how it goes. I didn't want to destroy a German unit. I don't actually have a place for him. I'm just gonna toss him off to the side for now. I don't think it could be rebuilt. I don't think garrisons can be rebuilt anyway. I could be wrong on that. I'll check later. Okay, so I think that's it for combat phase for the Allied player. Now they go on to, there's no exploitation. Supply is not an issue on this initial turn here. Though I don't think it would actually be an issue anyway, just because, you know, maybe these guys actually should be in supply, just because there's a zone of control here with this road. Going over to the this area here to the port, where the HQ is going to come in a second anyway. But I don't think they actually check for supply in the first turn. Okay, so shipping phase. That's bringing in all those other guys, and we're not doing an attack from the HQ. So last thing to do for the Allied phase this round is just bring in everything. All right, good for them. Okay, so the invasion of Normandy is done. It's happened. And now we move on to the German player turn. There's no reinforcements or replacements coming in this round. Movement phase, and movement phase, and then combat phase. So there's no strategic movement or anything allowed on this turn, and because of the Allied air domination, they don't get to use the roads for their movement bonus. So pretty much everything has to just move its normal movement range and can't do anything else. So the Germans, they don't really want to move their southern forces, just because this is still a good invasion spot, and it will likely, the Allies are going to dump at least the French, possibly the Americans too, but at the very least the French, into this spot down here, and have the potentially could make another beachhead down here, which would be less of a threat overall, but still a problem. They also have to consider the area near Bordeaux. That could be a problem. But with that many forces coming in, they're just going to have to bring in at least most of their armor up here. They're a little hesitant to bring up the 11th Panzer, just because of that threat of the invasion here. If both of those were to happen, then that's a serious problem. But at the very least, the SS are going to move up. So 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. Okay. Yeah, thank God, they don't get to move very far at all. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4. Do we want to move out from? Yeah, we do. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. I think this guy will move back here to group up with them. want to reinforce Cherbourg. It's a fortress, so that'll help quite a bit. 1, 2, yeah, let's do it. Reinforce Cherbourg. It'll be a really solid defense there. I think we'll just keep the bicycle. I mean, the exploitation movement's stupid. We can't really do much with it. We'll just... Actually, we'll even move it here just to be a nuisance. Carrington. We're gonna have... We don't really have much of a choice but to try to counterattack in Caen, so we're gonna have to do that. Okay. 1, 2, 3. I think it might even be higher than that, but they have to move into an enemy zone control, which adds more. Send the bow cut. I mean, they have enough, so it's not that big a deal. 1, 2, 3, 4. That's actually technically it's 4, but it doesn't matter that much. They have enough. They have enough. 1, 2, 3. Yeah, they have enough. This is trickier. There's no bridge there. Let's get these panzers moving. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. These guys in Brussels. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. 1, 2, 3, 4. I'm going to keep a little bit of guys up there just to prevent a potential invasion. And they're also just not particularly powerful units in general, so don't necessarily want to hold them there. Okay, now I don't think there's really anything else we can move. Oh, we got these guys over here too. 1, 2, 3, 4. Whatever. We want to move the guys in Avignon. 1, 2, 3, 4. 1, 2, 3, 4, 5. Oh, well, they're not actually. These guys are not under the effects, so they actually can go. No, wait. Oh, yes, they are. Never mind. Yes, they are. Yes, they are. Yeah, the 6 is big. 6 covers the whole southern. I thought for a second that it was in the middle, but it's not. Do the Avignon guys want to maybe move into Marseille? 1, 2, 3, 4, 5, 6, 7, 8. We can move into Toulon. It won't really be enough to stop it, but maybe we can delay it more, delay it long enough. There's at least a chance that they could delay them long enough for the potential port to run out, and then they're in a potentially serial problem. I don't think there is anything else we can do in the movement phase, so let's go to the combat. And if we go to the combat here, we can see the let's see here. 19, 29, 38. So 38 against, and this is going to be doubled too. 18, 22, 44. Ooh, so they're attacking at a 1-to-1. And with Allied air power, they can really knock them down. Do they want to try to do it? Because fighting at a 1-to-1, Allied air power can drop it down to 2, I believe. Let me just double check. Let's be sure. Let me just make sure that's air points. Okay, no, wait. Shifts the combat by 2 in the allies in an attack or overrun. So no, okay, you cannot. Yes, okay. You cannot use it for a defensive fight. Okay, then it's worth it. They're gonna have to take the risk on the 1-to-1. thinks that tactical adeptness to it will help a bit potentially, because they need to try to force the Brits out of here. So let's try it 1-1. They roll a 6. Let's see what that is. A 6 on the 1-1 is a attack 1, D1, no bracket, so they're both taking a loss, and that's just it. Oh, that's not great. Guess we'll take it on the 116. It's not good for the Germans. Damaged an armor unit, and the Brits hold on. This is not going great. All right, and that's it for combat. There's no other combat. There's not going to be any exploitation movement, I don't think, that can work here. No. Supply, there shouldn't be any issues with supply right now. There could be later, but for now it's fine. So I think that will cover the end of turn 1. So we've gotten a pretty interesting slight situation here. So that might end up, we could see that could be a decisive factor. We'll have to see here soon what the Allies are how they're gonna play this to try to make sure they can get forces back into Caen and bail it out. Probably the 21st Panzers are looking kind of vulnerable, even with the Oren. If there's a joint attack here, they'd be in serial trouble. And we got some forces over here to kind of help. But they could act as a holding force, but they're probably not going to really be able to counterattack. And then this American force here is going to be able to push for chairboard potentially, or even just move to unite, to hold beachhead, or push down. So there's a lot of options here available to pretty much everybody. And the Americans, they have a lot of choices to make the next turn for the Allied player. But that'll be it for now, and we'll see you next time.